Right,
Who's introducing today?
Me.
The Jake. Damn it! I knew it wasn't my week, but I wanted it to be. Every time, I pay attention and really understand what's going on, it's never my week. I don't know how that's possible, but that seems to be how
Jake
it goes.
could make a deal right now. You see.
We can't make any deals.
No, there's a schedule.
We have a schedule.
There's a spreadsheet and everything.
I color coded the names.
True. We're not undoing that. Gentle rain, you've got your sweater. I don't mean to step outside my bounds, but I feel this calls for an NPR introduction.
Ah, that's true.
One of Jake's classic voices.
I was thinking you were going to say Will Rogers, He'd always put on Mr. Rogers, that is, his sweater. And
that's
Fred
true.
Rogers.
Fred Rogers. I always get them mixed up.
Did wear cardigans. Mm-hmm. Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, Star Trek podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Sherman Foundation, makers of Sherman tanks, and also love.
I bet Reed would love that. Both of those things.
Also, sponsored in part by listeners like you. Actually, you've never done a goddamn thing for us, listeners, so fuck off.
Wow.
Rate us on Spotify or whatever it is we're on.
We're on all of them.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
5 stars.
5 stars. Today we'll be discussing 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, and we'll also be accompanied by a jazz quartet that will be playing garbage music at various times.
I mean, you already said it was a jazz quartet. The rest was implied.
It's the 4 Rikers and a funeral.
Whoa.
That would actually be a great if you had a horn quartet, you can call it 4 Rikers, and just if it's 4 men, they're all just dressed like Will Riker.
That'd be good.
The women could also be dressed like Riker.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. We could be anybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be talking about... Oh, by the way, my name's Jake.
This is Pete Schweddy.
Ames.
This is Caitlin.
The 2 episodes we'll be talking about today are Carbon Creek. It's the sound of that Vulcan dude's bed.
Ah.
And he's banging that woman.
Mrs.
Hot.
Garrett there.
Hot.
And Minefield.
No, Minefield.
Your field.
Minefield.
Garfield?
Starfield.
So beginning with Carbon Creek, we're having a nice cozy dinner, just the 3 of us. And it's between Captain Archer, T'Pol, and Trip. And we're having our little dinner. And Archer's like, yeah, I'm doing your yearly review. There's this great moment. I'll talk about this later, I'm sure. But I'm going to bring it up now because I just thought of it.
Great.
Go for it.
There's this great moment where Archer's like, it's been exactly 1 year since you joined the crew. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You all literally joined the crew on the same day to do the broken bow shit. So why are we making a big deal? Anyway, I mean, maybe
Archer doesn't write reviews for anybody but
Archer
T'Pol.
and Trip.
Wait, but he does explain why he makes it a big deal.
He does.
Okay.
Well, actually, a lot of them may have already been officially on crew on paper before they launched. Anyway.
Anywho.
Wow.
So anyway.
In that case, it's also Flox's first day then.
And
True,
her
but
she's-
no one's inviting him to dinner. He will steal all the
He
food.
will eat off of your plate.
So he's like, I was doing your crew evaluation, and aside from all the shitty performance I was giving for you, I noticed here that in your record, for some reason, it records that you visited this rando town in Pennsylvania on Earth, and I was just wondering why. And T'Pol's like, well, actually, there's a pretty interesting story about that. Would you like me to tell you a story? And they're like, yeah, tell us a story, T'Pol. Bedtime. Tuck us in.
Do the voices to Paul.
She can't.
So
She has one
T'Pol
voice,
tells
and
them a
that's it.
story about her
Life got flipped turned upside
Her
down.
mother's
Yes.
mother. No, her mother's mother.
South of Philadelphia, born and raised. In Carbon Creek is where I spend most of my days. Shooting some pool outside of the school.
Nice.
I fucked it up. But
I liked it anyway. It was a really good start.
Yeah, so there's a story about how T'Pol's second foremother, also known as a great-grandmother for
I liked that detail.
you humans.
I did good detail.
I actually did too.
Humans.
Very Vulcan of them.
How she was actually one of the first Vulcans to make first contact with Earth. And you might think, oh, so she was in first contact with Zephram Cockring. But no, in fact, T'Pol's reveals that first contact actually happened in the 1950s.
What?
Because the Vulcans, who evidently have not much better to do, just like to spy on Earth from time to time.
Sounds like them.
And they're hanging out watching Sputnik do its little Sputnik-y thing. And they're like, man, the Soviet Union is really advanced. We should visit Pennsylvania.
Well, they didn't decide to
that's
visit.
true.
They also might, well...
No one just decides to visit Pennsylvania.
So
You raise a good point.
their ship, something fucks up in their ship and they crash land. Their captain dies, so that leaves T'Pol's grandmother. I'm just going to say T'Pol because I didn't remember what her actual name. Tamir. So Tamir.
I mean, to be fair, it's just
T'Pol.
It's just T'Pol. So we're going to say
no extra
just T'Pol.
acting
It's
done.
T'Pol with
No.
brown hair. That's all.
Did she already have brown hair?
It's a lighter brown hair.
Okay.
Chestnut.
delicious.
Yeah, it's like a reddish. Yeah. Anyway, so,
Auburn?
there you go. So T'Pol's grandmother is now in command, as she was the second in command, and now she is the command. And they're like, well, shit. So they're camping out in the woods of Pennsylvania, and if they eat the body of their captain, and once they exhaust all the rest of the food, they're like, well, we can either hunt this deer
Oh, it was cute.
and eat like kings for a week, or we can go do some cultural contamination in the nearby town.
Rob a grocery store like, whoa.
So they do. They steal some clothes, and there's a really weird scene of titties, but you know,
Fucking
Oh my god,
the
why?
shadow titties.
Like, were their ratings just, like, off by a nipple last season? So they were like, all right, here's what we're going to do.
We need one extra nipple.
We're
The
going to get
amount-
these horny young men.
I gotta say though, I forgot. I did not realize 2002 TV cameras were that detailed.
Yeah, you saw the whole enchilada, as it were.
Yeah. Well,
By
the
which I mean
lighting
areola.
designer was top notch.
He won an Emmy for this episode.
I mean, this was nominated for
Excellent,
Hugo.
excellent achievement in shadow design.
Nipple silhouette.
Anyway, they go to this little podunk town nearby, Carbon Creek, trying to get supplies, and they wander into a bar, and the bartender's like, you can't eat for free, here's some freaking pretzels.
We don't serve your kind here. Poor people.
And they're like, well, we gotta make some money. Then it turns out they're pool sharks. They're actually really good at pool, so they...
Okay, now, is it sharks or sharps?
Sharks.
What?
They're sharps? I don't get it.
No, I'm serious.
Oh,
Shark.
it's a shark.
With a K.
I feel like I've heard people say the opposite.
Like card sharks.
yeah, I know,
Well, I think
but...
card sharp is also a thing.
Oh,
or
is it?
street sharks.
Maybe it's
Never heard it with a P.
Maybe it's like a
card
cultural
sharp,
thing.
also called shark, sometimes hyphenated or spelled as a single word, is a person who uses skill and or deception to win at poker or other
Oh, so
card
both
games.
work.
Sharp and shark spellings have varied over time and by region. Okay, cool.
I've only ever heard
wow.
sharks. So that's
I
interesting.
have heard both so much that I'm like, either both are acceptable, I'm more deaf than I realized, or there are just a lot of people running around saying shit wrong. I assumed that last one because most people are idiots.
Well, now
True.
it sounds like both are acceptable.
Which
I wonder
is
if that
great news.
started as a group of people being wrong, and then they're finally just like, enough people are wrong that we'll make it right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really curious. I've never thought to ask anybody because I didn't want to sound like a dum-dum.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. Joe. Some
so
sharp
yeah,
sharks.
So they earn some money.
They
Then
buy so many Swanson dinners with it.
they're basically, but now they're basically stuck in this little town, so they have to get jobs. And T'Pol works sweeping the floors at the bar, and one of the other guys, Mistral.
Mo becomes a plumber.
Mistral
Yeah.
was our sexy
Yeah,
Vulcan
so
friend.
he gets a job in a mine,
Hot.
and the other
Damn, I love
one,
him.
Strawn, as I see,
Mo.
Mo, which was a good joke, gets a job as a plumber, and there's a woman that really wants to bang him.
Oh,
So
he totally
he's-
fucks her. I don't care
need
what
you
he
to come
says.
here and fix my pipes again.
I clogged
Oh.
it just for you.
I
Ew,
oh,
lady,
no.
lady.
I left my money in the
my
kitchen.
roto-rooter.
Oh no! Come
Was that
clear
his
out my
nickname?
pipes.
Yeah, she's clogging it up with the husband she murdered and dismembered so she could have Mo.
Mm.
Damn, this just became a small town murder
So
episode.
they kind of befriend. Well, T'Pol's a little, tight ass as she
She's
as she
T'Pol.
is.
I mean, Tamir.
Same difference.
But Mistral kind of befriends the local bar owner,
Maggie.
and goes on a date with her, and she kisses him, and he's like, "Ooh, I kind of like that." Boing. But then T'Pol like is just there, just giving him stink
A
eye.
creep across the street just fucking staring dead at them. And her reaction is, we've got company. My reaction would be, she doesn't have a gun, does she? Like, holy shit.
You sure you're not a couple, right?
So there's so then at some point there's a mine collapse, and Mistral has to use Vulcan technology to rescue some miners, and he becomes a local hero. And then little Jimmy, or whatever, so the kid, doesn't matter what his name was.
Oh, you were close.
It was a J name, huh?
Well, every kid in the 50s was Jimmy or Jack or Bobby.
Weird.
I had a 1 in 3 shot.
Those were the only names.
Something happened to Chris.
I love the things that Chris finds, like, this funny, like, because I never know what it's gonna be.
Neither
Like,
do
it's
I.
always a surprise, you know?
So anywho, he's a really clever kid, and he's really smart, and he's got a scholarship, but he needs more money to go to school, and they just don't have enough, so he's gonna have to not go to school and live in this shithole town the rest of his life.
You know how expensive college was in the 50s? Well, wait.
Yeah. A college tuition could fit in a pickle jar in the 50s, evidently.
Well, if you fucking fill it with hundreds.
Anywho, T'Pol feeling bad for him, revealing a bit of her compassion, wanders off and invents Velcro.
That's in like the last 2 minutes of the episode.
Yeah,
what the fuck episode?
Well, the Vulcans evidently already had Velcro.
Velcro.
So she just
Oh shit.
Velcro. Yeah, that's what that's what they're like. What do you call this stuff? She's like, it's a Velcro. Yeah.
Yes, I have notes on that. I'll let you guys know when we get there.
So she basically sells the patent, I guess, for Velcro, and makes a bunch of money. And it's enough for them to give it to the kid. Then finally, after months of living in Pennsylvania, some more Vulcans are like, "Hey, we're responding to your distress call. Some Tellarites took their goddamn time letting us know you were crashed here."
Typical Tellarites.
And T'Pol's like, "Great, all right, we're ready to go." And Mistral's like, "Actually, I'm gonna stay here."
I've been enjoying this getting my dick wet more than once every 7 years thing.
Kissing is very pleasant.
Very pleasant.
See ya.
I know, I was agreeing with you.
So they lie to the other Vulcans that show up, and they're like, "Yeah, the captain and Mistral died, and we ate and burned their corpses."
I mean,
In that order.
just burned. Didn't eat, just burned.
And the other Vulcan's like, "Cool, get on the
That
ship."
is logical.
So then everyone, like, Trip, back in outside the story, Trip and Arch are like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! You just rewrote all of our history." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you asked me to tell you a story." And they're like, you got us, you. And then back in her quarters, she has as a prized possession a purse that is the same one that Tamir had. So it's implied that it wasn't a made up story, and that it actually did happen.
But we could check this very easily, because she says at the top of the episode, this history exists in the Vulcan History Museum or whatever. You guys just never visit and check it out.
Can you imagine how fucking boring?
Oh my god!
Like, because just like how like dry all of the writing must be for a human. Like,
it's just a list of dates.
Like, no human has successfully made it through the prologue of a Vulcan history book without falling asleep.
Well, also, you must understand, this history, while it is in the museum, is down a flight of stairs with a broken light bulb behind a door labeled "Beware the Tiger."
Ooh, Vulcan Tiger.
Roar.
So, 2 things up top.
Oh boy.
1, I appreciate that Jimmy Jack Bobby was not an historic figure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there wasn't like a reveal at the end that
they
he's
showed
like...
great restraint.
Yeah, it's like he's just a smart kid. He's not fucking H.G. Wells or...
What's your name? Gene.
Mark Twain.
Gene Roddenberry.
Or Gene Roddenberry.
Oh my god, that would have been awful.
I mean, Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have been a kid in the 50s.
Also true.
They could have made him George Lucas.
I want to check how old this kid was when this show came out.
Legends of Tomorrow actually did an episode where they had to save George Lucas because someone like killed him or something, and that really fucked up history. And number 2, You know, Vulcans normally I don't think of as fashionable people, but
He was only 23. I thought he was much older.
and let's be honest, in the 1950s, that's what an 18-year-old. Actually, no. In the 1950s, he looked great for an 18-year-old.
Oh, no. You know who they would have made him? Neil Armstrong.
No, oh, they would have.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but he's luckily very, very much from Ohio. That's like
Yes.
a lot of the
They could
astronauts
have crash
from Ohio.
landed in Ohio.
No,
instead.
I know that's true, but
It's an easy couple of 100 feet to move though.
Nope, I'm sorry. They made a deal with Pennsylvania Tourism. It's going to be in fucking Pennsylvania.
But number 2.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
I don't think of Vulcans as fashionable people, but that era of uniform was fucking great.
I
for them.
love those
Those
jackets.
looked so good.
I want one.
Yeah.
They looked real good.
They were
Fuck, I didn't
amazing.
pay that much attention to
Oh,
the
they were
clothing.
great.
But here's
Now
the
I
thing.
regret
There's
that.
cultural
were-
contamination right there. No one can see those. Or the
I want to know
world
where
will
the
explode.
fuck they got these jackets from. Because Vulcans are staunch vegetarians, yet do not frown on leather.
It's
Pleather.
pleather.
Yeah, I assumed it was made of mushrooms or some
It
bullshit,
looked
you know?
very leathery to me.
Or it was just replicated.
I mean, here's the
Because
thing.
vegetarians sometimes say that they would eat not replicated, but like grown meat that doesn't require any suffering. So maybe if it's grown leather that doesn't require any suffering, they're down with it.
I mean, here's the thing. There's no way the show paid for that much leather, so it's definitely pleather in real life.
Oh, fair, yeah.
And 2, we don't know. They are vegetarians, but maybe when a cellet or whatever passes of natural causes,
Or maybe there's an animal that just sheds its skin and they use
there we go.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
Either way.
speaking of the vegetarian thing, there's some really great like history stuff in Keith DeCandido's review because he went back and said, okay, a lot as good as this episode is story wise, the details are a lot of stupid details.
You know what got me? What the?
I'm on the meat thing, but okay.
Okay,
go
all
ahead.
right. Well, all right. No. Finish the meat.
Meat thing. So in this era, if they bought this many fucking Swanson meals, Swanson, at least at this time, only ever made meat meals. So either they were buying up the meat meals and eating them because, you know, drastic situation or whatever, or they were just having the sides and the brownie or apple crisp and throwing the rest away.
I remember once in college, this will make sense, I promise.
Good.
They would have themed nights on occasion in the dining halls. And one night it was 50s night. And they had like, you know, basically just hot dogs and hamburgers and diner food. And in true 50s fashion, they actually like completely emptied out where they normally would put the vegetarian and vegan options to put dairy ice cream.
Nice.
There was, I think, one option for non-meat eaters.
And it was
insane.
lettuce.
Wow.
It's like, wow, you really thought this through,
rockets.
assholes.
They did love their meat. What were you going to say, Jake?
Well, I was just on that topic. I mean, I'm willing to bet it would have been pretty hard to have a vegetarian diet in the 50s in this particular small town in Pennsylvania and like not be unhealthy. Just like sources of protein
get potato
are
chips
going to be fairly limited.
Yeah.
So it could very well be that the Vulcans were like, well, we are not going to go and kill an animal ourselves to eat it, but these animals are already dead and we got to survive. So I could
Needs of the many.
I could see them making an exception for the Swanson dinners.
Also, Mo scanned them and was like, honestly, the alleged meat is 90% sodium.
Cardboard and foam.
Well, not just that, but like honestly, they decided that they would rather contaminate a society than just kill a deer. I think logic is out the window. Like allegedly, this one Vulcan is like, no, it's way more logical for us to go and get food. It's like you're in the middle of a fucking forest. I can see greenery all around you.
Yeah, eat a
You're
tree,
telling
damn
me-
it.
You're telling me there's no like fucking no, but there has to be something growing that they can eat.
Mushrooms or just other plants.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's-
just saying they could have found something.
It's near a mining town. All the mushrooms are just contaminated with wastewater.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
the ones that aren't are poisonous.
Also, this is like October-ish at this point, because, you know, if they had just watched Sputnik or whatever, like the dates don't fucking line up anywhere in this show, because when they say later on we just went to a baseball game, it's like, this isn't baseball season. No one's playing right now.
Rabbit season. Duck season. Baseball season.
Elmer season.
I Love Lucy is on tonight.
I Love Lucy season.
That was cute. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
like
Yeah,
it
that
too.
was a good
little
touch.
homage to Lucy. I like that.
And because she's the one that helped get Star Trek off the ground, so that's a very nice
Exactly.
nod.
Yeah.
Very nice nod.
I was going to say, oh, yeah, when they go to the grocery store, they walk out and they're carrying these grocery bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're carrying them like you would carry grocery bags, like in their arms. But the
Not with their
bags
feet or anything.
have
Those little ropey
the
handle
little
things.
ropey handles, which 1,000% no grocery bag in 1950s had the little rope, not even rope, like the little like
Yeah.
paper.
The paper
Yeah.
handles.
Yeah, like I have a bag over there with them.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
Was it not? I don't know.
I
don't know the history of paper.
I don't know
bags.
either.
It does seem unlikely.
It seems unlikely,
But not impossible.
It seems like a more modern sort of innovation on the grocery bag.
Velcro.
Well, this is a really weird quibble, but
This is
I accept
this
it.
is my hill.
Yeah,
I'll
Jake
die
got
on this
totally
hill.
thrown out of the episode by that detail.
I stopped to look up if stop signs have always looked like that, and at least since the 50s, yes, they have.
Oh, nice. That's
cool.
interesting. Yeah, I know there's a couple of other little anachronisms and stuff that you can find in Memory Alpha, but really the thing that takes the cake in this episode that was fully unnecessary and drives me a little bit nuts is the Velcro thing. Because first off, they obviously looked up something about Velcro for this episode because it was invented by, I wrote it down, George de Mestral, a Swiss electrical engineer, whom they named the character Mestral after to make a connection.
No, that was just a coincidence.
But somehow they missed the fact that it was invented in 1955 in Switzerland, not in 1957 in Pennsylvania.
Well, the thing is, we all
flip.
know
That's
that.
in our timeline, though.
Oh, is that how it works?
Star Trek we know takes place in an alternate timeline because
An ever-shifting
The
timeline.
eugenics wars hasn't
the
happened
eugenics
yet.
wars hasn't happened.
But the other thing that drives me nuts about this is, Tamir says, "Oh, I feel bad for this boy. He needs his extra $500 that if I weren't working in his mother's bar, she could have just, given to him instead of me. Damn it."
Oh, there's no way she earned $500 in her time there.
Well, the guys probably did in their various jobs.
Maybe.
Mining and
They seem to have. They were betting a quarter a ball on a pool. That's gonna add up fast.
Yeah. But how long would it take for her to actually sell the rights to Velcro
My assumption
when
is...
she had 3 days before the Vulcans came back?
I feel like this is more like... It's kind of like giving that guy transparent aluminum.
It's like, yeah, here,
Also
here
true.
you go. You look at this, now figure out how to make it.
I
give me money.
need tuition. Give me this.
Yeah, give me money, you can pretend you came up with it. And he went, fucking fine, here. Yeah,
Here's
I
exactly what the boy needs for college.
I assumed it was something like that, though.
Well, I assume they took a little extra for themselves so they could eat well for a minute.
Well, they're leaving in 2 days. They don't need to. That's not logical. I
Yeah.
also looked up. Here's a neat fact. I didn't know this before. Since it's a Swiss design, the name Velcro is a portmanteau of 2 French words: velours for the soft, squishy part, and crochet, which is the hooky part.
Oh, that's
velour,
clever.
Crochet.
That's very clever.
Oh, nice.
I cannot take the word velour seriously, thanks to Zap Brannigan.
Velour.
Yeah, I could totally see. Yeah, because it is. Yeah, $500 for that invention seems pretty low.
She could have just sold something off of her ship.
No, because then they could have learned too much. This
Yeah.
seems safe because there's no internal workings for them to pull
Yeah,
apart.
like
and
this is
steal,
just like they
Vulcan,
can make this with their current technology. It's not like something crazy that's going to change the world. It's something useful that. And probably like when she went there, she's like,
That
I
changes the
would like
world."
to I would like to sell this to you for $500. She sold it for the exact amount because it wouldn't be logical to request any more.
I don't know.
She's no profit for motive. So I feel like a Vulcan would literally just ask for exactly the amount that they needed.
But these Vulcans aren't very good Vulcans. I don't know if I agree that that's what they would do.
She seems to be the most Vulcan-y one.
Yeah,
No, that's Mo.
but she's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna
very
say
Vulcan.
she's not the most Vulcan. She does this thing.
Mm.
Like if she were very Vulcan, she would never have done this.
True.
The
think.
boy liked stars, so she was like,
I think she wanted to bone him, and I was like, "Ma'am, he is way too young."
Well, again, everybody else was getting some. She needed somebody.
Mm.
And like...
Yeah, but not a minor.
Oh, yeah, no. Maybe one of the miners instead of the miner.
Yeah, a minor, but not a minor. That's like a what we do in the shadows joke.
True, there was one, actually.
I was caught smuggling minors. You fucking pervert. I know that's not what they say it about, but
No. But yeah, seriously, I think she's the only one that didn't have a partner. Because again, I do not believe Mo. He was definitely fucking Mrs. Garrett, or whatever her name was.
I think it was
Gross.
Mrs. Robinson.
But here's the thing, though. The force generated by an unregulated Vulcan ejaculation would literally destroy a human body.
What
Like,
the
it would
fuck,
disintegrate
Jake?
into...
No, Jake. Bad Jake. I loved Mistral and Maggie's love, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Mostly, like, I forgot that this episode is mostly good because when I first saw this episode, the tits were the only thing I saw.
Oh, yeah, this is a great...
The
this is a
only thing
fantastic
you
episode.
see in this episode is tits, and then the rest I entirely forgot. But, and maybe I'm also colored in this watching by knowing that Mistral is J. Paul Boehmer, who we saw before a bunch of times. He's our handsome Nazi friend.
Oh, that's right. This is one of his few like non-Nazi appearances, isn't it?
Yeah, he has a bunch of other appearances. So he was the handsome Nazi in Killing Game. He was the handsome Borg hybrid son of Seven thing in Drone.
That handsome Nazi.
He was a Cardassian at some point, and
So
we're going to
Nazi.
see him as a bunch more Nazis.
Yeah.
And I'm always surprised because every time I'm like, J. Paul Boehmer, I know that name, and I look him up on Wikipedia, and this literally all he's ever done is Star Trek. But he's so good.
He's always a good time.
And
Yeah,
so handsome.
Yeah, the tits is weird, and like...
So dumb.
And like, it's...
Why?
It wasn't
And
like...
the dress backward joke is bad.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Well, and also, I will say this, I thought that they did the dress backwards joke just so that they could show her tits again, and it really kind of looked for a second like they were going to do the bit a second time, and I was like, God damn it!
There's
and
a
then I
cut
switched,
scene.
and I was like, thank you.
No, that went straight into Berman's closet.
Special
Thank you.
Jess for Ricky.
It's just demeaning. It's so
Yeah.
like I think Jake said while we were watching, like, where the fuck is this
Yeah,
light source coming
like,
from?
That's why I joked
Yeah.
about like the light design for this, because they had to,
Spotlight her.
because as we know, you have to place lights very specifically to cause shadows to be sharp.
True.
Geordi figured this out, is what I'm mentioning.
Good point.
Oh, the shadow thing. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
So
In Identity Crisis.
yes, so like they had to go through a lot of work.
Yeah.
To
Make sure you got
light
just the
that
edge
scene.
of that nipple.
Yeah, to make sure that the shadow was in focus. They had there had to be like an 800-watt fucking Leco somewhere back there, just lighting, knifed exactly to the shape of the sheet.
She she wound up like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters with just one half of a sunburn.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that sticks out as a real stupid thing in the episode. Otherwise, I think this is a phenomenal episode.
Yeah, it's very good.
I really like this one.
Yeah, other than the Velcro thing, the sheet thing, and the one other piece of guff I will give it is the kind of frame story thing, because the way they get into it really fucking pissed me off, because it's yet again Archer being nosy. That's the theme this week, is Archer is fucking nosy. Nosy Archer.
Not just nosy, he's bringing this
Nude.
up. He's bringing this up in front of Trip. I have a question about a personal matter having to do with your fucking review, which should be private, but I'm going to bring it up here at dinner in front of my boyfriend.
Yeah, and then when
you're not bothered.
when she says, "Oh, it was a personal, trip I took to Carbon
That should
Creek."
be the end.
Trip.
Aw.
What the fuck, Trip? Where did this come from?
I tell you all the time about all the
yelling at
titties
her.
I've seen.
He yells at her that, "Oh, I tell you stuff about personal all the time, even though you tell me not to."
Yeah.
Trip,
even when you
shut up!
Even when you yell stop, I don't want to know. I just keep telling you. So many personal things.
I
Therefore,
call
you
the
should
left
tell
one
me.
capping.
That's also what I call the right one.
Oh no, two cabins.
What does he call the
Now
hog
let me
admiral?
show you. Yeah, let me show you the
Pecan
hamburger.
No, he calls the big one pecan pie.
Oh God.
The big one, what?
Bitey?
Shit, is that Futurama or The
The
Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Okay.
Because it's the possum.
Right.
Oh my God, is that a possum? So someone on my Facebook feed has a camera out in their like portable. They are not portable. They have like a cat shelter that they built for outdoors,
Oh.
and there is a possum that has taken up residence
Smart.
there.
They're
And
smart.
so he keeps referring to it as the Bitey cam, and I'm like, Bitey. I mean, I knew he meant the possum, but I didn't realize it was a reference.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah.
So
I call
thank
the big
you.
one Bitey.
It's really cute. I should send you guys a link.
Aw, I
You'll
do
like
love
it.
them.
I've seen possums out here a few times in the yard.
Yeah, cute.
They're
I
all-
only ever see possums doing their best to run right in fucking front of me when I'm trying to drive down
That
the
is
street.
true.
do
That does
that.
happen a
Yeah.
lot.
And like I've never hit one because I would feel just terrible. But like, man, It's like they really do wait until you like start to drive out, and they're like, "Oh, this is a good time for me to waddle my fucking ass really
They're
slowly
not
out
even
in front
fast,
of your car."
yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And I'm like,
Oh, back to this episode. But like the first thing I wrote down when I saw like, this is an episode that doesn't feature most of the crew. In fact, it's almost only Jolene Blaylock.
Yeah.
And it says, this is an episode in which only 3 of the main cast members appear. And I paused and thought to myself, guess which 3?
Yeah.
not Mayweather.
The 3 that we only ever
They should have
fucking
just said
see.
in this episode the 3 main cast members appear.
Yeah. Seriously. No, it's Mayweather, Cutler, and
Hoshi.
Phlox.
Oh,
Novakovic.
I guess Hoshi already got her storyline. Her one season story, one storyline of the season was when she got laid. That's it.
So there is
That was
one
last
thing.
season though, so
Oh, right, it's a new season. So
season.
she could have been there.
she could have been there, but she wasn't.
She could have been a contender.
So obviously, like I said, Jake, there's the purse at the end,
Yes.
which implies that at the very least some of this happened.
She went and visited a Goodwill store in
And bought a
Carbon
purse.
Creek.
But it leaves open the idea that something happened. She may have, what's the word? Not elaborated.
Fudged.
Fudged some of it.
No,
made
not
up.
fudged.
Exaggerated.
Some of it, because that is the one thing is like, because of what little we see of him and what his characterization is, I don't know how they would have convinced Mo to go along with the Mistral also died lie.
It's logical. He will not be convinced to come with them. So it is logical to tell the rest of the Vulcans that he is dead.
He just seems like the type, though. He would have just neck pinched Mistral and dragged him.
See, that becomes the other question, is if they lied to these Vulcans, like, oh yeah, Mistral died and we, ate his corpse. If T'Pol is then saying later, this account is also in Vulcan records, did it come to light eventually when they were
Maybe.
assumed he died?
Maybe after. Maybe it was kept under wraps until after first contact, and then to the other
To next one.
To next one.
no, but because presumably they're still alive by the time of first contact. They're Vulcans.
Oh boy, there are. At the end of this episode, I basically wrote in my notes, like, I demand a Star Trek Mistral, because that could be kind of fun if they, like, make it kind of a we come from France kind of thing, and he has to, like, explain away all his bullshit, and then he gets to plow Maggie and all this thing. But apparently, there's just a whole bunch of, like, novels and stories that feature him. One, he did get to meet Zephram Cochrane, and he helped him with the fucking warp engine thing.
Because of course he did.
Because he was also, I guess there were, like, some invaders from the future that got involved in something
It usually is.
that he had to fight off. I kind of want to read these novels. They sound fun. I like Mistral a lot. I should have put him on my favorite Vulcans list, but I didn't know yet. May go back and do it. We'll see. But another one is that because of this whole time traveling thing that's happening, he also gets to meet Kirk later. And Roberta Lincoln, because she's a member of some ops team.
Right, that's what
Terry
Gary
Garr.
Sevens, yeah. Oh,
From
God.
Assignment Earth.
Yeah.
Because fucking novel writers can't help themselves with the Roberta Lincoln character.
Nope.
She's in a lot.
Sad, true story, in fact, is he just goes off his tits on LSD in the 60s and just never comes down.
Oh, no.
This man took so much acid, his blood turned green.
Yeah, seriously, like, what happens when he drops dead?
Oh, yeah, like, that's...
They even said that at the beginning. Like, what happens when they find alien corpses?
Yeah, because he's not... Unless he had a plan to, like, self-destruct.
Maybe he did. We don't know.
And he implanted himself with a little bomb that when it detected his heart stopped, it would just blow up.
He snuck into the Phoenix with Zephram, and then the Vulcans who were nearby picked him up.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, that would have been the best outcome for, like, non-cultural contamination if he was at ground zero of one of the many World War III nukes.
Oh, no.
It's true. But yeah, I mean, if he's not alive, then certainly... Like, I already forgot her name.
Tamir? Oh, Tamir.
Or the other one may have still also been alive and could have talked about it. Like, it probably wasn't going to be okay to talk about it before first contact.
Yeah.
But afterward, it's like, hey, funny story about Earth.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I
Or,
was there once.
Or Tamir, when World War III happened, went back to look for him. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Also, it's possible that the story is in the story that is in the Vulcan archives records two deaths.
Yeah. Also possible.
And that T'Pol only knows the truth
because
it's a family.
Oh, that could be
family story.
That would make some sense.
Oh, what was the Frasier connection?
The head writer of Frasier, Dan O'Shannon, was the one that pitched this idea to Braga.
Oh wow. Oh, well done, Dan.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little idea. I mean, it can go fucking anywhere because it's not really an Enterprise story. It's just a story. I know there's a lot of comparisons to it in 1159, saying this is well more successful than 1159.
God, so much better because there's no one like Henry Janeway who you just want to chuck into a wood chipper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. When you do like one of these like old like family history where you have the actor playing their ancestor, it's just it's a minefield. You know what else is a minefield?
Nice. That was great.
Good
That was well
segue.
done.
I can't even.
Nope.
Minefield is a minefield. So in our next episode, Minefield, we are tooling about. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh God.
Oh,
the most awkward.
Nosy Archer.
The most awkward breakfast meeting.
Oh my
Archer
God.
invites Reed.
The eggs look good.
Reed, who like.
Were they omelets?
Reed's on the
they're eggs
spectrum,
Benedict.
isn't
I was
he?
just kidding.
Like that's what I feel like that's what they're implying a lot of the way he acts.
I think he just had a really bad upbringing and doesn't know how to behave around people.
Maybe.
It's that British gumption. This is how he thinks you have to act in the military.
I mean, I think it would be nice if they like had made Reed on the spectrum and like just made that part of his character.
True.
I don't know if he's
That's
on,
a minefield.
I don't know if he's on the
That's true.
spectrum, but he is so ready to fucking die. Like
yeah.
somebody
Like
needs to
Jadzia
do
was.
somebody needs to do a wellness check on that boy. He's not okay.
Yeah, if he would Janeway if he were a captain.
I would like to take after my great uncle in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
But anyway,
If you were any kind of captain, you would have blown up the ship by now.
but anyway, so like Archer invites Reed to dinner, breakfast with the captain, and for some reason doesn't let Trip come as like a chaperone, which probably would have been a better idea.
It would have helped.
But like Reed's just totally awkward, doesn't want to converse, doesn't want to like socialize with the captain, and of course,
I love that he's doing work at the table.
yeah,
It was
he
very cute.
keeps trying to turn the conversation to work, and Archer's like, "Fuck you! I want to talk about what sports you like." He's like, "Oh, I don't like sports. I like death."
Archer is the extrovert that makes introverts uncomfortable.
Yeah, big time. So anyway, they don't even get to dig into their eggs Benedict before somebody from the bridge calls and says, "Very important planet. We saw a planet, Captain."
Is it Minshara class?
Oh, it's totally Minshara class. And Archer's like, "Shut down everything. Get to the bridge."
Flip this egg.
So they go to the bridge and they're pulling up to this planet. They're like getting ready to check it out. Hoshi's got a boner. Fucking Trip's got a boner. T'Pol's just like meh.
Trip doesn't have a boner. His dick's just that big, as we know.
But like, yeah, all the Starfleet people are getting big hard-ons to go check out this planet.
It's just a normal-looking planet.
And then, kaboom! Half the ship blows up. And they show it, and like there's several decks that are totally obliterated.
How many people died?
0 fucking people died in this.
Son of a bitch.
Literally, my first thought was, I got 17 casualties, but a fatality ain't one.
Yeah,
It doesn't parse well, but...
I remember thinking, like, have we finally... Is our first crew death? That isn't Daniel?
Chris is like, is someone
Nope.
finally dead?
Fucking
Damn
Archer
it.
continues his perfect... I feel like people are dying constantly, and just everyone's too afraid to tell Archer.
Yeah, it's like when you have a goldfish that dies, you just replace it without noticing.
Like, I
The
thought...
kid will never know.
I thought we had, 49 crew when we left Space Dock. Nope, we always had 36. The whole time, Captain.
It's like that episode
That was a
of,
clerical error.
It's that episode of TNG. No, there's always only been one person.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
universe is fucked up, or Archer is a moron.
Porque no los dos. Hey.
Anyway, so yeah, half the ship blows up, and they're like, "What the fuck, Reed? What the fuck you do?"
Seriously, poor Reed.
And
Why do they always
he's
think
like,
it's
"Captain,
Reed's
I
fault?"
definitely closed the thing."
Your Reed voice is getting pretty good.
And then they're like trying to figure out what went wrong, and it wasn't something that went wrong. They something attaches itself to the other side of the ship, and they look at it, and it's some kind of bomb or something. So then they're like, huh, we still have that anti-cloaking technology. Let's see if we can take a little gander around. So they take a little gander around.
Yeah, it's like that red film you put over something to find the secret message in an old highlights book or
and
something.
they find it, and they are in the middle of a very dense fucking minefield.
Mayweather!
And they're like, shit. And then, to make matters worse, this one of these mines has attached itself to the hull and reads like, I'll go out and I'm the one who should disarm it because I have the ordnance training. So he does, and he goes outside. And he's like, yes, of course. Just do diddly that and diddly do. I understand this alien technology implicitly.
Somehow. Some fucking how.
No, he scanned it. It's fine.
And then as he's doing this, a fucking thing pops out of it and pins him to the hull through his leg in a very horrible way.
Somehow doesn't decompress his suit.
I was wondering how he had air.
I think the suits have like auto sealing.
Yeah, no, they had like this little bulge of goo pop out.
Was that from the suit or from the spike?
I
No,
assumed
that's
the
from
suit.
one. That's from
Like if I were making a
I thought it
spacesuit,
was the
that's
spike.
a great like I would fill. You know that great stuff, that spray insulation foam.
Yep.
Yeah.
That comes in the can. I would make a spacesuit that had a layer of, because it's like a 2-part thing, right?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
a layer of part A and a layer of part B separated by like a thin membrane.
Yeah.
So then if the suit ever gets punctured, the 2 parts would mix together and instantly foam up to seal the leak.
Yeah.
I think that's a great NASA, if you're listening.
And also Reed's wound somehow.
If you're listening, NASA, you got the idea from here. If you're listening, Elon Musk, fuck you. You suck. We hate you.
So much.
Jake just double-birded the microphone.
Yeah. Because it was standing in for Elon Musk.
And he did it for all of us, because fuck you, Elon.
Anyway, so Archer goes out there to try and help Reed, and like, he's like, and they're, yeah, it's fine. They're just, Archer's like, listen, you can't fucking move. You're going to have to talk me through disarming the bomb. And Reed's like, oh, god damn it, I have to talk more to you, Captain. Fuck.
Well, it's even worse than he thinks.
I have to pull up my air hose right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kill myself now, damn it.
I'm gonna shit myself to death, Captain.
Yeah, I didn't need that. That never came up again.
Yeah. Well,
Captain, I have to make a number 2.
But also, like...
That's what sealed his suit.
I'm thinking you did a boom boom.
You know what? We're not topping that. This is better star to steer her by.
Remember the mashed potato trick when he sealed the hole with the taters?
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that poo-poo isn't gonna work just as well?
Gross.
Yeah, well, listen, I didn't write this fucking
Jake is
episode.
still in the synopsis
I
somehow.
am. It's somehow.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh,
Jake.
yeah. So
I'm gonna go
anyway,
ahead.
so then then another ship decloaks.
Another ship.
And you guessed it, folks, they're back. It's our friends, the Romulans.
Romulans.
Romulan.
Back for the first time.
Yeah. So
We did hear about them in Shockwave.
That's true. So it turns out that this is a Romulan minefield, and they're very pissed off that the Enterprise has wandered into it. So the Romulans are very perturbed, very upset that the Enterprise has wandered into their beautiful minefield, and they're like, "Get the fuck out, or we're gonna blow you up." And so they're like, "Okay, well, we got a crew man on the hull, so we need to fix that." And they're like, "No, get the fuck out, leave. We're not wanted." They're like, "Okay,
Finny that fucker.
okay. Well, what are we?" They're like, "Well, you've got a plan. You just detach the hull, just to detach that hull plate and get the fuck out." And they're like, "Well, but there's a man out. Oh fuck."
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
So back on the hull. I'm not gonna walk through the whole fucking thing step by step, but they
70 degrees.
They can't disarm the bomb. So in the end, what they decide to do is to detach that piece of hull, and then Archer's gonna cut through the bit that's stuck through Reed's leg.
Immediately turning the bomb on or some shit.
Yeah, right, because there's a detonator circuit
Detonating, that's what it was for.
in the foot. But then they're gonna put some pieces of metal in front of them and jump away,
Seems like enough.
which will apparently saved them from the blast that obliterated like a large amount of Enterprise earlier in the episode. Meanwhile, someone on board is like, guys, we got that transporter thing over there. It's just sitting there.
Nope,
we've
Reed
used it
doesn't like
before. It works. No,
we don't like that.
We're not going to do that.
Reed has specifically mentioned not being a fan, so.
I'd rather die so many times this episode.
Also, I think Reed was like the one that operated it before, so maybe.
Well, actually, I think they beamed him in as a Suleiman that time. But, Ames,
they
to your
did.
point, I'd rather die, full stop, Malcolm Reed.
He really needs some attention.
Like, that poor boy, every time the chips are down, he's like, well, good, finally.
Yikes.
Time for some heroics.
Well, I mean, the fact that there's clearly some residual shame here about not being a Navy man and
He's
that
afraid of water?
he's afraid of
Or
water.
specifically of drowning in water. I'm sure just a glass of water, he won't be like,
I was just gonna say, no one's just afraid of water. When people say they're afraid of water, I assume they all mean that they're afraid of drowning. Like, why else would? Oh, it's so hydrating.
Tell that to a rabies victim.
There are, I think, some folks who do have a fear of the ocean. Like, they don't want to go on or near it. It's thalassophobia, I think.
But you don't think it's because they're afraid of drowning?
I mean, I think for some folks, yes, but for others, I think just the idea of the ocean is enough.
I feel like a lot of times there are fears that are not
That's true.
justified.
Like the vastness of the ocean is also fairly terrifying.
Yeah. But that's why, I think, fear of drowning, you can still go to space, even though, no air, but it's like,
The
oh yes, but
equivalent of
it's
drowning.
specifically drowning, not just inherently not having air about.
Well, it's definitely not the air problem, because he's in space.
Yeah, and it seems fine with it.
Yeah, so a nice little read piece. This.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I realize I don't know why I gave you the vocab card. There's no vocab on this list because we don't learn any new people or things.
There was one thing that annoyed me.
Just one?
Archer.
No. The Universal Translator shouldn't have had that much trouble with Romulan.
Yeah, right, because they already had Vulcan to work from, no?
And, even though, yes...
It's a different language.
Yeah, but there's got to be some that is similar at the base.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe it would still need time, but I don't think it would have as much trouble as with a completely alien language. And I looked it up, because I was kind of wondering. They've never established, according to Memory Alpha, an exact date when the Romulans fucked off of Vulcan, but it was at least sometime on or after 4 AD, by our reckoning. Because that's when...
That is way more recent than I thought it would be.
Yeah, because that's when Sorok's whatever was introduced.
Then they should really know Vulcan, yeah.
Right,
the language
this would
should be the same.
This would be... Well, I said it's basically if you went from, say, Latin to modern Italian. An Italian speaker and a Latin speaker probably couldn't speak to one another, but a linguist could see, here's these bases match up, these things are similar. So I think the Universal Translator would have gotten it sooner than later. Mm. But they were acting like, it had encountered a completely new language.
Well, for all we know, maybe it is. Maybe...
I'm going to keep assuming the Romulans broke off millennia ago. Like, many millennia ago.
Mm. Yeah, so I do kind of wonder if it is known at all on Vulcan, that history. Because, T'Pol's Romulans, yeah, I know about them. They're enigmatic
I've
race.
heard the word before.
I can't remember. In Balance of Terror, I think, doesn't Spock basically say, there were stories people had run off, we thought maybe
I don't think it even comes... I just think it's... I think he's just it looks like they might have been an offshoot of my people or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think they get too deep into it. Other than the racism.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there might be something of what Chris is saying, though, with the... Oh, that explains why we have this legend of people who split off.
Yeah, it seems like the
That's
Vulcans...
what happened to
sounds
them.
more familiar.
The Vulcans maybe had a suspicion, but they weren't positive until
But they didn't realize it was the Romulans by any stretch.
Right, yeah. They knew there was somebody out there, and then I was like, oh, there they are!
But here's the
Holy
thing.
shit.
The Vulcans are quite full of shit a lot of the times. I'm going to posit
They invented Velcro.
that the Vulcans were the splittees.
You've made this argument before.
Have you seen Vulcan? It's an arid, terrible place for
We've
life
seen
to evolve.
small sections of Vulcan.
But also, they had a massive war. It was probably nicer once.
I'm gonna say, but if you look at Romulus, looks kind of Earth-like. It's verdant. There's water.
Verdant, that's a good word.
It's got moons of
It's got
people
moons
we can enslave.
slave moons, the whole nine. Romulus seems like a much better place for life to have evolved than, say, fucking the desert world of Vulcan. So,
Well, we haven't seen all of Vulcan. I know there are supposed to be like nice areas. Like I think in one of the Strange New Worlds episode where we see Spock and T'Pring getting it on, they're in a pretty nice area.
Getting it on.
Is Chris frantically looking it up?
I'm skimming the Memory Alpha entry for Balance of Terror.
Good luck.
Thank you.
yeah, I don't know. I thought this was pretty. We don't get a ton of Reed character work. Like we got a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't need a ton. He's a very subtle character, which is fine.
We get about. But here's the thing: we get about 500 times more Reed character development than we do
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
What's his name at navigation?
Well, I feel like every time we get Reed character development, it's just more depressing.
Yeah, it just confirms the latest. Yes, you thought he was kind of like shy and didn't get along with people. Here's more backing that up.
Yeah, here's why. His father was a dick.
Yeah.
Like, that's just clearly his father was a fucking asshole of the highest order. And that really destroyed his self-esteem.
He doesn't even know he likes pineapples. Damn it, Dad.
Also, Ames, to your point, what they specifically said in Balance of Terror, I found it,
Okay.
is that Vulcans had in fact begun colonizing space a long-ass time even before that. So, Romulans may not even been a split because of the Sorok thing.
Might have just been
Just early colonists.
like a lost Vulcan colony.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like novels and shit on this.
And I think there's been retconning and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway, to your point, or rather back to the main point, poor Reed. Someone needs to give that man a hug.
I nominate Hoshi. Or Mayweather. Give them something to do.
That's not going to happen.
He did have a line in this episode.
A whole line, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Mayweather piloted us out of a minefield.
Yeah, he
Good job.
He had the manual steering column and everything.
Yeah, yeah. In a little homage to Galaxy Quest. Having to pilot out of a minefield. See, they should have pulled it along and thrown it at the Romulans. Like in Galaxy Quest.
Those poor people.
They'd just cloak and laugh.
Mm.
Which is another funny thing, because, we're gonna introduce the Romulans, but we happen to know that we can't physically see them until Balance of Terror, so we have to make sure we painstakingly don't break canon. And yet we've got this cloaking stuff, which they always said, which fucking Spock says in Balance of Terror. Oh, we always theorized that cloaking was possible, but never had proof. It's like, God damn it!
We've seen cloaking
Son
already,
of a
though.
bitch!
We saw the
Oh, the
Suliban.
Suliban's cloak.
Yeah.
You're right.
Temporal Cold War.
I mean, the thing is,
And we're also
it's-
pretty sure time travel isn't possible.
It's not. It's definitely not.
Really,
No proof.
the biggest mistake they ever made was committing to keeping TOS canon. Like, they should have just said, Star Trek TNG is a new canon. And, it can reference stuff from TOS, but nothing really is real.
Well, I think people have even sort of said that, I don't think he ever said it explicitly, but it kind of seems like that's sort of how Roddenberry was treating it in the early days of TNG.
Well, I just
Like,
think
it
canon was an
existed,
important thing.
It happened, but they weren't gonna be if they wanted to say, fuck it, this specific incident didn't happen, it didn't. The crew existed, the major adventures existed, the movies happened.
But then they get to cherry pick which things are canon and which aren't, and there it gets very confusing.
Well, also, it's all fucking made up bullshit
Whoa.
anyway.
Whoa.
So who gives a shit?
Nerds!
And canon! I feel like major events you kind of need to try to stick with, but little things
Yeah, but what's a bigger thing than First Contact? We've just thrown that out the window. So apparently,
Well,
even
see, that-
the right big things cannot be true.
Well, no, see, that works, though, because it's this is just something we kept to ourselves. That's not saying an event didn't occur.
That's just a cheap way of getting around canon.
It's a...
We just didn't know.
I mean, there's a difference between a retcon and just straight up ignoring canon. I think, to an extent.
Oh,
Also,
we never saw the Ferengi before, except this time, but they never told us they were Ferengi. Yeah.
It's just stop doing it. Just don't fucking stop. Just
I think,
stop.
I'm of the opinion, kind of like Jake, I think what you're saying. The TOS, I think its canon, quote unquote, needs to be treated with the most flexibility. Because even within TOS, there's stuff that I think probably
there's tons of
contradicts
contradicting
because they didn't give a fuck.
Well, but also, like, consider that most of the Vulcans we've met in this fucking show have been, like, the least Vulcans that ever Vulcaned.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah.
Or Spock was
there
just
might be
least
some
Vulcan.
explanation coming for that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, good, an explanation, like the Klingons' foreheads.
Less dumb. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's funny because you think about... It isn't really a new thing, being obsessed with this sort of stuff, because even at least as far back as Doyle.
Doyle rules.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doyle really didn't keep very close track of his own writing.
Because he didn't even like writing it that much anymore,
No, it
right?
paid the bills. So he contradicted himself constantly. The location of Watson's wound from the war constantly shifted.
What hump?
But even as early as, like,
Nice.
the late 19th century, there were obsessed fans trying to, like, reconcile all these contradictory things. So there's this weird...
Turns out Watson's just a fucking liar.
Yeah. There's this weird need among people...
Stolen valor.
For there to be, like, consistency in their fictions. So it's not even like, yeah, it's easier to get all crazy and nitpicky now because internet, so you can more easily chronicle things and look things up.
Well, also, people binge things now.
Yeah.
And it's you notice all this stuff, and you're like, wait a minute,
Well,
like...
Yeah, and we have VCRs and streaming and shit. You're not just seeing it live. You have time to rewatch and enhance.
Like, I didn't realize this episode, despite being the third episode of a new season, is the first time they debut a slightly lighter blue jumpsuit on everybody.
Didn't even notice.
Which you barely notice. Like, you have to go back and, like, look close, and you're like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Why?
Why not, apparently?
Apparently.
Maybe something to do with, like, lighting.
Washing
it was
them.
easier, or that, or maybe...
That's true, it's often very dark.
Maybe the new material's more durable. Maybe it had something to do with, like...
Maybe it's less sweaty.
Maybe the colors on their little section stripes stand out better.
Maybe these colors don't run.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Also, I was thinking this, we were talking about T'Pol Tamir's hair last episode, but I think, I couldn't remember. Hoshi clearly had, like, some amber highlights in this episode. Are those new?
I didn't notice.
I couldn't remember. I feel like she didn't have them in the first season, but I'm not 100% positive. But there were very obvious amber highlights in her hair this scene.
Well, I'd like to know who's doing the hair on board.
The chef.
I want to know who's taking care of the chickens for all these poached eggs they're making.
Probably Phlox.
Yeah.
He seems to like beasts. Plus, he's like, I'm
Like,
going to be stealing your nuggets off somebody's tray someday.
They've been in space for over a year, and they're still having eggs.
Well, I mean, we do know there's human cargo ships out there in colonies, maybe.
Yeah, but they've also said that like...
Oh, yeah, they're further
like
out. Like,
Risa was the farthest that any human had ever been.
So they're rising chickens.
Well,
Yeah,
chickens lay a lot of eggs.
They're not Earth eggs anymore. They found equivalents.
Oh, wait. Temerian?
Oh,
Are those
Riker's Temerian eggs.
Riker had Temerian eggs, and we know that Temerians visit Risa.
There we go.
Temerians?
Isn't that...
I thought I don't know who you're referring to, but I could be... My brain is going the children of Tama, which is not probably what you're thinking.
No,
That's the Dathon people.
No, maybe that is Temerian. What am I thinking of then?
I don't know. Eggs.
The eggs Riker makes.
No, but who are the people that give Riker the game?
Oh.
Katarian.
That's
there
right.
we go.
You did know.
You did know. So it's not... Yeah, it was Katarian eggs, because I made that joke that Naomi Wildman was hatched from an egg.
Which, I mean, honestly, for poor
Samantha's
sake, I hope so.
So we know that Katarians
because of her horns
visit Risa, and we know that Katarians have eggs that they eat, or at least that they sell to humans that humans eat. So perhaps we did pick up some Katarian eggs on Risa.
Yes, if we picked up some other eggs than eggs that we would have left Earth with a year ago, then we have eggs.
Mystery is solved.
Unless they're freeze-dried or some shit.
They are astronauts.
And yes, you're right. Temerians are the children of
the
Tom.
Dathon people.
Yeah.
I don't think you can poach powdered eggs.
Chef's just that good.
Those looked eggy. Those weren't.
He shaped them very carefully.
Those weren't hotel powder eggs, which I do love, by the way.
He sat there and he just sculpted them. You know, he's like one of those people that can make a cake that looks like a shoe until you cut into it.
Shoe.
Instead, he makes eggs that taste like shoes.
So I meant to ask, wasn't there a scene last season? Wasn't there a time where Reed was at a meal with the captain? Like, this wasn't the first time, I swear. Although I think
he was at a meal with Hoshi and thought Hoshi was hitting on him.
Yeah, but that was in the mess hall. Like,
but just him and Captain?
Well, that's the thing. I don't remember. Like, I think maybe Trip had been there. Like, this is definitely the first time they've shown him alone with Archer. Mm-hmm. But I swear, like, they're acting like it's the first time he's been there full stop. And I swear there was a scene
see me eat
last season where he was there with maybe Trip and maybe T'Pol. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
They did have pineapple cake.
Yeah. That's really, I think it should have been pineapple juice, too.
Nah.
Like, it was clearly orange juice, because pineapple juice is more yellow and a little more,
Once they figured out Reed liked pineapple, they ate all the pineapple on the ship. So because it's something we can bond with Reed over. Oh, we've eaten it all. Bye, Reed.
And now I want pineapple juice. You guys are evil.
A Dole Whip?
Oh, I've never had a Dole Whip.
You never had a Dole Whip? It's delicious.
I'm sure. I mean, it's everything that's good in the world. Dole and Whip.
I like how fucking Archer is like, Romulans, I've read about those. You read the cover of one book, dude. And then Daniels told you don't.
I was gonna say, it was...
That's all you fucking read about Romulans,
I mean,
dick ass.
I thought that, but on the other hand, I also could see that whoever wrote this forgot that all he did was read the spine. Also, we didn't see all of his time there. The minute Daniels went into a different row, he was like, fuck you.
Romulans, pointy ears, oh my god!
He probably just took the whole book. He probably pulled a fucking...
That and like a Garfield collection for some reason.
For some reason, for sitting on the shitter.
Fair.
What else would you do with a Garfield book?
Oh, Odie. Ha ha!
By Daniels' time, the Romulans would no longer exist.
I mean, the ones that escaped
They would be the
Romulus.
Nivar.
Oh, that's fair, but they don't know.
But also, who knows what his timeline looked like.
Though it is bold of you to assume that anyone writing for this show is paying any attention to their own fucking lore.
Well,
This
show was like 20 years before they introduced that concept.
Actually, the concept is from fanzines in like the 80s or 90s.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that name is apparently a deep cut.
Nivares? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, I think Archer's plan to hide behind a door in space might be the stupidest plan in Star Trek yet.
Stupid like a fox, because it worked.
It should not have worked.
Not at all.
The blast should have if they survived the blast without like getting impaled with bits of door or losing their grip on the door or anything,
or
that
the door forcefully smashing itself into their helmets,
yes!
shattering the glass.
Their arms should not be strong enough to not get killed by this door themselves.
I was thinking the same thing.
They would fly so far off course that it may well be like, oh, found him, scoop, got him. That should not be that goddamn easy, and I was very irate about it.
The lack of consideration of the transporter in this episode.
Yeah, you're very right.
They could have very easily dropped a line like, oh, that knocked the transporters offline.
Yeah,
yes, they should have.
It fucked up what is it always that breaks the electronics?
The
solar flares?
The UPS, yeah, the EPS conduits got
okay.
jiggered. Have they had EPS conduits in this? I can't remember.
They talk about EPS.
Okay, so they have them still, yeah.
Like Trip's always pissed off that the EPS system is fucked.
They didn't go totally old school and just have a circuit breaker. Damn it, Cappy, you blew all the circuit breakers. Gotta have someone flip each one manually. There's 357 of the damn fucking things. Dang old Cappy.
He's turning into Boomhauer now. This is kind of fascinating.
Dang old War 5 Ender, man. Dang on paper, at least.
Amazing.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
I'm going to surprise y'all and say I didn't mind Archer while he was defusing the bomb.
I feel like,
even though he was being incredibly annoying to read, it was like, I get it.
You know, it makes perfect sense.
I get what you're doing. Accept.
I figured you might. Because it's like, it's him using his archerness in a lot, like a... Because what you do, you're like, okay, I need to keep this guy's mind off of the fact that there's a fucking spike in his leg, and we're seconds away from death.
And we're strapped to a fucking mine.
Yeah.
And also, these assholes keep decloaking, mooning us, and then cloaking again. Romulans.
That would work, too, because you wouldn't see their faces. You'd just see their butts. So it's okay.
It could be
Canon is
anybody.
safe.
Speaking of, we so didn't need the captain is getting worse. I have to go to the bathroom. Well, go ahead. And then then that's it.
I mean,
it's not like, okay, done.
Don't actual astronauts just kind of have to go in the suit? You're telling me they got rid of that functionality?
I'm sure.
No, they have bathrooms in.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're doing a very, very long procedure out on like the side of the ISS or something, they catheter.
Well, yeah, but
you.
maybe he didn't have a Maybe he didn't have a catheter or a diaper.
Sure, they do.
He thought he was just going to be out there for 5 minutes switching some lug nuts around or something.
Either way, it's like if you
But if you're not decked out to shit your pants, and you have to shit your pants in front of your captain, that shit's fucking embarrassing.
But what I mean is,
I feel like the smell's gonna travel through the vacuum of space.
No, I don't know. But it's gonna fucking travel into his fucking nose.
That
though.
hypo went straight through that suit, and it was fine.
Oh yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. You think there'd have to be like a port?
Again, self-sealing stem bolts.
Self-sealing EV suit.
See, that's what they should have though. The hard plastic part should have like a port for a hypo.
That would make sense because when he literally perforates the suit with whatever painkiller Reed asked for, it's like no, that's not a thing.
No, that's true.
You just punctured a fucking spacesuit, you fucking idiot.
And we also know that at least by the 24th century, they do not have self-sealing suits. That's because Worf's suit gets sliced by the Borg,
and he has to tie.
He has to tie the.
How'd they lose that technology? For all I know,
it's been a long road.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't. I don't know. I just always assumed there was a diaper under there. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
I mean, I'm assuming since we never see a bathroom really on these ships other than in the prison in Star Trek V.
Yeah.
You think there's a lot of pants shitting happening?
I'm assuming that just like diaper technology has gotten so sophisticated that everyone's just shitting their pants and there's just like
waste disposal straight into the replicator.
No, it's just completely fully 100% absorbent, can take a full log.
Wow.
Captain's log. Oh my god. Wow.
It is gonna take all my self-control, by the way, Ames, to not call this episode Stinky Did a Boom Boom.
Or you could call it Captain's Log, comma, colon. Stinky did a boom boom.
N dash. Love a good N dash.
Anyway, I don't know. I thought these were actually really two solid episodes.
Yeah, they were. Season 2 so far.
Off to a good
start.
Fingers crossed that this momentum continues.
And I think Stinky may have even done some acting classes because I feel like T'Pol is doing better too.
Stinky? No, Reed is Stinky.
Oh well, whatever. I think of her as being Stinky. I know that she's not. But
I do wish that her and Tamir were at all distinct from each other, but aside from the haircut.
Damn, you beat me to it. Well, slightly different haircut.
I mean, to be fair, T'Pol has never been quite so fucking creepy. That scene where she's just standing across from the car, staring at them, I was like, oh my god.
I will flip my shit.
I really thought she was gonna murder them.
Vulcan strength, really she literally just flips the car.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were gonna use their Vulcan strength to save the people. I didn't know they were gonna actually get
phaser it out.
Stuff involved. Yeah, because if you just lifted it up over your head, when you use a phaser, it leaves phaser burn marks, and people will be like, "How did they make this?"
But, I mean, that also though would have been awkward. It's what? How did you do that?
No, because they don't
adrenaline.
Well, no, but honestly, if you were gonna get away with it, a time when maybe the average Joe didn't know that much about medicine, and you could just say well, the heat of the moment, and I knew I had to do something, and I just had the strength of God must have helped or something.
Jesus.
It's the average Jack or Billy or Jimbo or whatever, not the average Joe.
Sorry, you're right.
The strength of 10 Vulcans plus 2.
Which two?
Tamir and Mo.
Yeah, but it's also going to be weird to explain, how did this random shaft suddenly appear? Like, I just was wandering around and I happened upon
Cave
it.
in, that's all.
Also, I'm pretty sure, and I meant to measure the time, just jump back real quick. I'm pretty sure his Vulcan antique phaser was just a curling iron.
Yeah, it was phallic.
Ooh.
It was more phallic than other weapons we've seen.
But yeah, solid week. I'm hoping maybe this momentum continues and we're less exhausted for the next season.
Yeah. Season 2, we'll see. But we did get to see at least a glimpse of Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else got to pretend to be a Romulan once? There's my segue. I did it. I found it.
See, I was gonna do a Reed needs therapy segue.
Oh, that's a better one. You do that.
And who less suited to help than Troi?
I don't know. Back in this day, she might be helpful.
I don't know. I'd still, back in this day, would prefer Pike's Dr. Bartender.
Oh, Dr. Boyce. We liked him. So yeah, we're doing our continued spotlighting of characters from other shows to, give you something to read on the Tumblr, which I know everybody loves.
They actually do. People seem to really be interacting with this stuff quite a bit, Names. You're doing great.
This week is going to be a fascinating week because I actually have a very long list of great and bad stuff, both for Deanna Troi.
Deanna.
That's not on there. That's a good one.
I don't remember. What is that?
That's from Timescape.
Yeah, Timescape. She's talking about how some creepy guy tried to chat with her.
Well, no, it was
a lecturer.
Yeah, it was a lecture. He wasn't talking to her. He was lecturing. But we just say Dion. Okay, never. Go, Jacob.
What is happening right now?
Jake is telling us about things Dion.
Sure, I'll talk about some things. Here's the tops. Here's my tops anyway. I know people have feelings about this episode, but I think her figuring out what was going on in Night Terrors was pretty good. She was having those bad dreams. Yeah. Where are you? I'm trying to find you. But yeah, she figured out that it was aliens trying to communicate. I can't remember actually if it was her or Data that figured it out, but either way.
I tried to write down Jake and I wrote Troi. God
she was there. She was there. She helped. I'm going to say, with time, speaking of Face of the Enemy, she did a great job playing Romulan.
She did.
She really did a good job there. That's all. And then my last good Troi moment is, I'm going to say, despite the fact that she crashed it, wasn't really her choice. It was already a foregone conclusion. Mm-hmm. She did a pretty good job of crash landing the Enterprise.
Yeah, that could have been way worse.
That could have been way fucking worse. But no, it was a really soft. I mean, she took out like hundreds of miles of forest.
But who wouldn't?
But who wouldn't?
Yeah, no, that could have gone just face first in the ground and killed everyone.
Yeah, like a starship crashing into a planet is usually a many fatalities situation. Mm-hmm. But overall, it seems like she managed to take it in for a pretty soft landing. So
yeah.
And as far as I know, she's not usually a pilot.
Nope.
So good on her.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say a woman is a fucking saint for putting up with Reg Barkley.
Mm-hmm. Which time?
Literally every. But let's just say for not immediately demanding he be transferred to another ship in his first episode.
In Hollow Pursuits?
Yeah.
When he made a sex avatar of her?
Yeah. Like, holy shit, lady, that is almost too compassionate, being willing to help that guy.
She taught him plexing.
True.
Interplexing beacon.
Sticking to her guns in, I think it's Disaster? The one where she's in charge and O'Brien's like, she's gonna get us all killed.
Oh, really?
And she's like, no, this is what we're gonna do. And in the end, she was right.
Wow.
Especially because this is, I think, before she did the whole, like, command thing where she killed Hollow Geordie. And yeah, I just fucking pulling off that whole deception during Face of the Enemy. Like,
oh, for sure.
Face the Nation.
Like, I'm expecting to hear that one a lot because he's also the top of my list. Like, yeah, Face of the Enemy.
Because everyone agrees that's the best Troi episode, right?
Troi, and also just Marina Sirtis is at probably her best. How about you, Caitlin?
So I would say sticking to her guns and doing her command track work, even though everybody was being a dildo to her.
Oh, when she killed Jordy?
Yeah, she
Like
never.
when
I just-
Riker told her, you don't have it cut out for this.
Yeah, and she still fucking did it. So she showed you dicks.
Yeah.
What was my other one? I have 2 other ones, obviously. Oh, this one's sort of a joke, but also sort of not.
I don't know, they're
she
often the
was
best ones.
She was a really good friend to Crusher for not just being like, why are you reading your grandmother's gross erotic diaries? She was just like, we should talk about this in therapy sometime, maybe. No, you just want to make me listen for free, okay. Putting this in your file.
Oh, wow! That was right in my ear.
How long do you think I can keep him going?
Chris is literally gonna die right here.
I had a good run.
I
But like, Reed, bury me at sea.
No.
Dude, we're so far from sea.
I hate the sea.
Yeah, he's not afraid of drowning, you understand. He just doesn't like the ocean.
Full of whales.
Yes, true. He doesn't like whales.
Hungry, hungry whales.
Hungry hippos.
whales.
Everybody knows the Hungry Whales game. And, I mean, like, fucking obviously, I also said the time where she had to pretend to be a Romulan and was fucking great at it. Man, just for Marina Sirtis and for Deanna Troi, I mean, truly a triumph, and honestly really a shame that we never got to see more of that Troi, because she was a badass. So, those are my 3.
Yeah, she rocks it when you give her a chance to do stuff. She does a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna have a different 3. Although a lot of these did overlap with things at the top of my list. I'm gonna say fighting off that mind rapist in Violation.
Oh, sure.
Because there was a great scene where she's just literally like beating him over the head with a keyboard until Worf comes in and is like, oh, well, you did most of the work for me. All right. Yoink.
Oh, damn it. I meant to... Fuck. Go ahead. I have an honorable mention.
Oh, I love it. First, let me give you 2 more just because I'm here. She's very nice when she goes into her mother's mind in Dark Page to help her mother through that grief moment.
The Kestrel thing?
Yeah, with Kestra. I liked that a lot. I thought that was cute. And I'm going to give her one good example when she actually did some good therapizing, which happened occasionally in the show. And the one I'm going to pick is the one from Skin of Evil, where she, like...
Oh, talked Armis into...
Yeah, every time she talks to Armis, like, he lets his guard down, and she's like, this is actually good. And he's like, therapy? Who thought this would be helpful? And she's like, well, I did, because it's my fucking job. But also, we're leaving you now, bye!
But didn't it turn out that the actual solution was to piss Armis off more?
Yeah, maybe.
Didn't Riker have to, like, tell Armis he was a jackass? Or am I mixing this up? I might be mixing this up.
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I just remember being impressed with some of the actual good counseling work she was doing with him. And I give her credit for that. What was your honorable mention, Caitlin?
She fucking bangs Worf. I'm so mad that I forgot that. I was so proud of myself,
To be
obviously.
fair, she also killed Worf in her mind.
Which time was this?
Le Petit
Remember when she had like a hallucination that she killed Worf, but she believed it was true, so she was going to kill herself?
Oh, Eye of the Beholder.
Eye of the Beholder. That's the one.
Yeah, that was a weird episode.
I would like to point out I am genuinely slightly lightheaded
Oh,
from that
God.
fucking fit.
See, I knew it. I knew we were going to kill you.
Chris is dead. I have one more honorable mention I want to bring up because it's a good one.
Chris is dead. Moving on.
Moving on. So long, Chris. Rip Chris. She had really great chemistry with Reva and was able to communicate him in loud as a whisper.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a nice
Oh,
Troy thing.
yeah. Oh, I loved them.
They were very cute together.
I wish that would have happened.
Well, here are things that I wish didn't happen.
Oh,
And
no.
these are my bottom Troy moments. You mentioned when she was good as a therapist. Here's a time she was absolute shit as a therapist.
All the rest of the time, Jake? That's
Well,
not
yes.
really
Well,
a-
I feel like in particular, and I admit there are extenuating circumstances here, and I just
Well, it's
think
big of you to
she
admit
should have
that, Jake.
recused herself, perhaps. But in The Loss,
Mm.
she's therapizing some woman, and is just doing a real terrible job at it because she lost her empathic abilities.
Yeah.
And then she's
like, why should I care, bitch?
And then she just
What?
she can't deal with anything. Like, basically, what that is saying is that she is only her abilities, and without them, she is completely useless.
Yeah,
Which
not
we
a
already
good time.
knew as the audience, but they're
Being
finding
fair,
out.
she's not that useful with them. I mean,
But yeah, she probably should have requested some leave to come to terms.
Well, I think eventually she did. She did realize, like, or she like was.
Guinan was like, "I'm applying for your job," and Troy's like,
She tries to resign, and then Guinan talks her into not resigning.
Yeah, but yeah, she should have just you've just
Take a
suffered
break.
a catastrophic injury. For Christ's sakes, take a few weeks, months to recover.
But no, Captain needs me.
Yeah.
But also, I can't
These
function.
Flatlanders are fucking with my shit.
Oh, I like the Flatlanders. They were cool.
Okay. Now, here's an interesting thing. I'm putting on my bottom list the way she commanded the ship in Disaster. Because while there was a positive outcome, it came so close to being an actual disaster.
Mm.
Like, if Riker and Data hadn't made their way to engineering at the exact moment that they did, the ship would have blown up. Because Troi did not listen to Ro, who was actually right. That we should get the fuck out of Dodge before this whole thing goes kerplow.
So really, the putting that on the best moments list is kind of reliant on Data and Riker doing a thing.
Yeah, it's ex post facto, right? Like, in hindsight,
Terrible episode.
It was in hindsight, it was the right decision, but like, really, as a command decision, it's just like killing Geordi, right? Like,
but everyone loves killing Geordi.
well, I know, but she should have detached that section of the ship, which incidentally wouldn't have killed Geordi because he wasn't in that section of the ship.
Yeah, he was trying to get blown into space with Bev.
He was tap dancing with Bev. No, he was singing Gilbert and Sullivan with Bev.
Could have been tap dancing.
That's true. Anyway, my last moment is undoing one of the very best things that Star Trek made. So, one of the best things that Star Trek The Next Generation did. So good, in fact, that it has become a trope and a meme, an analogy for when a show becomes good.
She grew a beard?
She shaved Riker's beard.
Yeah.
In Insurrection.
That's good.
And lo and behold, the following movie was Garbo. So
Greta Garbo?
Didn't he have the beard back by then?
I think he did, actually.
He did, yeah.
But
My God.
he shaved it for that one movie because they were feeling so young and vigorous and
Whoa.
Imzadi.
Yes.
Chris, are you alive again yet, or are you...
I mean, I'm still lightheaded, but
still mourning
I'll
you.
press on. I had a hard time thinking of anything that, like, was inherently negative that, like...
It wasn't just her not doing something, but her actually doing it wrong.
Or not something that, like, the show inflicted on her, not something that grew out of her character.
Makes sense.
You know, which is usually how I try to do these. Is like, it grows out of the character, not just something the show inflicted upon them. But I really couldn't think of much, so I'm gonna go with inflicted upon.
Okay. I mean, there's still bad moments for Troi.
I'm sure there are, but I could not. I had the hardest time.
I'm sure things getting inflicted on her are still things that are bad.
Well, this is not. This is strictly just inflicted on her. And actually, also, Bev, that fucking gymnastics scene.
Oh, yeah.
Or stretching scene,
Yoga,
whatever it's
they were
fucking
doing,
called.
yeah.
Calisthenics,
Terrible.
that whole scene, just in the bin. Not as bad as Tamir in the sheet, but
How does it stack up against? Oh, my tits are firmer now. Are your tits firm now? Oh, my tits are getting
I'm not
better.
sure which
Wait,
is
let me
worse.
touch your tits.
But they're both bad. Chuck, what else did I have?
Also, tits aren't on your list.
What?
The tits getting firmer isn't on your bad
No,
list?
I was joking.
I mean, I was kind of considering it, but I was hoping I'd think of something better before now, but I still hadn't thought of anything, so it might be. Give me a second.
Okay, I'll give you a second.
Oh, God, I feel like I might have had a legit one. I feel like, didn't she do something in Voyager that annoyed us? Something to do with...
Probably mostly liked her appearances in Voyager.
I think we mostly did, but I feel like there was one moment where she... I don't know, I feel like when...
She doesn't initially believe Reg, but why would she?
Oh, no one does.
That's true. That's a good moment.
But I think,
fuck Reg.
wasn't there something about the way she handled the situation with the EMH and Zimmerman that was like, Troi, come on. Where we were like...
I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. I feel like there was a moment where she mistook one for the other one. No, I could be making this up entirely.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing that annoyed us, but that... probably was her joking, hopefully, because, obviously the one that's still young and in a outdated uniform is the
Also,
doctor.
the one that she can detect empathically is going to be the real one.
I don't know. Louis Zimmerman, definitely a hologram.
Yeah, let's stick the boobs line in there.
Yeah, boobs
So
line.
dumb.
I mean, I'm there with you. The boobs line is very dumb. Oh God, you're still trying to think of more, aren't you?
Didn't she want to fuck one of the goddamn Masterpiece Society people?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
but that was hot.
Yeah, those people were annoying. Was he okay though? I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's
he
been
was
so
good.
long.
It was the same.
Was he the one that wasn't a jerk?
Yeah, he wasn't a jerk. He was the same guy that played Bulkra.
How about
So
when
we liked him.
How about when she got she was involved in an arranged marriage she didn't want to be in, and then got jilted.
I mean,
That's
none
wow.
of that's her fault. That's
No.
her weird culture, and then Wyatt Earp left her for.
Wyatt
Plague
Earp, I
victim.
forgot about
Yeah, I got
Wyatt
nothing.
Earp.
I got those two. I just.
Wow.
Cause yeah, I feel bad, but I couldn't remember loads that she did that like annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like I
The thing
could
is,
think of
yeah,
things that like she did well, but like most stuff that I think of with Troi, it's like, well, it's not something she did. It's something the show inflicted, like having her constantly like her powers not working right when it would be really quite useful,
Captain,
or
I sense nothing from them.
again,
Thanks.
repeatedly being the victim of people just assault. But again, that's not actually something that grew out of the character. That is the writers being lazy and bad. And that's, when I think about bad things with Troi, that's what kept jumping to mind. And again, I'm sure you're about to have actual narrative examples, but my memory is shit. And skimming Memory Alpha is not always helpful.
Oh, I re-listened to our episodes, so.
Oh god, I don't have that much time.
It's an easy listen while I'm at work.
Fair enough.
What about you, Caitlin? Troi moments from you?
Oh, I'm thinking. That's harder. Well, that fucking awful purple jumpsuit. I know it's not her fault. It is bad, though. I'm glad when Jellicoe makes her get rid of it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
She doesn't really seem to get along very well with Luoxana, which I think is awful. Because Luoxana is the best. I know she eventually kind of comes around more, but...
I kind of get it, though.
But if Luoxana was your mom, you'd be embarrassed, too, I think. I think it's more just like, it's like, Mom, stop trying to fuck my boss.
Although...
I don't know, dude, if he was into it.
She is an analyst, and maybe by the time she's an adult, she could have realized, oh, this is why my mother's crazy.
Well,
Because I think we realized that, like, so much of Luoxana's character, you realize, it's like, oh, this all makes a lot of sense, actually.
And, she should have gone with Thomas Riker.
Ooh. Hot take.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll give you that one.
I mean, I know she really shouldn't have.
I mean, he phasered that fucking piece of rock or whatever to make the waterfall thing. It was very pretty. The artwork.
I'm just saying, like, he's creepily obsessed with her, but, like, I love the Phantom of the Opera. So, it's way up my alley, you know?
I don't even think of him as being creepily obsessed. I think...
Well, she was what kept him going. I guess it's actually
Yeah.
sweeter. It's
he's
sweeter
just
than I'm making it sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a subject of PTSD. And
Yeah, and
Yeah,
from his perspective,
his
And
love
it-
is
who
still
better
pure.
and who better to help him through a tough time? Well, literally anyone.
if he
I
did,
don't know what the fuck I was
if
thinking.
he didn't get killed by the Cardassians, and once he finds out about her and Will getting married, dude's gonna be inconsolable.
Him and Worf get together and get shit-faced.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say have sex.
Or that.
I would be down with that.
Read him, Zadi.
I know. It's
Listen-
literally in my car right now. So
listen
anytime
to the
that...
Frakes audiobook.
Oh, well, I'm not going to do that because that would cost money. But I will try to remember to read the copy that I have, which is in my book, in my car right now, so that when I stop and have time, I have it with me. You know what I mean?
Word.
Word.
I got some more Troi moments for you guys
Thank you.
from my re-listen. And this one you guys are gonna be like, oh right, the moment I say it. Wanting Worf and Alexander to make a contract for good parenting.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost of living.
She's really bad at...
She's like, oh yeah, you know what makes sense for you and kids? You should do this. Speaking of her failing to therapize children, pawning Timothy off on Data.
Oh, yeah.
In hero worship.
God damn, I forgot that was her idea.
Yeah, because when she's not doing her job, she's doing the fucking opposite and ruining fucking people's mental health. I had one more good one. Which one's it gonna be? It's gonna be. Here's another bad counseling moment. In Evolution, when Stubbs was like, I would not like to receive therapy from you, and she forces him to like talk to her about something, I was very uncomfortable on Stubbs' behalf.
That's fair. It's easy to forget about that because Stubbs was kind of a jerk. But he still doesn't deserve to have to do therapy if he doesn't want.
I'll just give you guys a fun honorable mention because it's one of the funny ones. And that's when she practically climaxes over a chocolate sundae in the game.
Everybody was climaxing in the game.
True. One of the few times she actually got some chocolate.
Let me tell you about how good this sundae is.
Also, it's a goofy scene, but I do enjoy Marina Sirtis' drunk acting in First Contact. And the fall is really good. When she just drops off the stool. She goes like straight fucking down.
Nice. Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really it comes down to Deanna is mostly a good character.
Yeah, she's fine. They just don't use her right.
When you give her things to do, she is good. It's the writers that do the bad things, not Deanna. And
right.
And like it's a lot of it is like she is just a victim a lot of times. Like they're just using her as something bad's going to happen.
Yeah. So or again, they're switching off her abilities right when they would be useful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't get to wear a real uniform because you have to be the sexy one.
Yeah.
Don't eat anything at craft services, Marina.
I was trying to find a way to make anything that happened in Man of the People make my list, but I couldn't think of a good way.
Either list?
Certainly the bottom list.
But on the top side, like she looks so damn good in that blue dress.
She does look good as
with the streak wig.
Yeah, older. Sexy lady. Cougar Troi.
They should have just had her wear the streak wig from there on out. that didn't recover somehow. It's kind of like Rogue in X-Men. All right, well, I guess that wraps this one up.
Good episode.
Yeah. Hopefully the momentum continues next week when we look at Dead Stop and A Night in Sickbay.
Oh, I know one of those isn't great.
As always.
Surprise as to which one it is.
If Dead Stop's the one I'm thinking of, that might be pretty decent.
I think it is. I know which one it is, and I recall it being a fun one.
So yes, join us for those. As always, follow us on Facebook and Tumblr and your favorite podcasting application. And hey, if your podcasting application has a rating thing, why not give us a rating?
Yeah, you summed up very quickly.
Yeah, and I forgot to ask, who are we looking at next week?
Next week, let's do a slightly lesser known hero, Catherine Pulaski.
Oh,
because Jake requested, if we're gonna have done Nurse Chapel with TOS,
it's
damn
fair.
Well better do Pulaski here, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah. So look forward to all that. Until next week, this has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This is always Jake.
Witty closing line.
I have none. I'm done.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Hold on, I have to burp.
Oh, there's a Frasier connection
There
in
is?
this episode.
There is a Frasier connection. I'm glad you're reading the notes. Get the burp out, damn it!
I already did.
Quite stylish.
Someday we'll find it, the Frasier connection.
Oh, nice.
The lovers, the dreamers, Merlot.
The Maris, the Martin,
Eddie.
and me.
Also, both good. I like that.